International travel and immigration to the United States has been upended during the past few weeks.
It's big stuff.
On January 27th, President Trump issued an executive order suspending travel from 7 Muslim-majority countries. Over the weekend, judges issued rulings allowing green card holders and people in transit to enter the country. By February 1st, some states had filed lawsuits. 8 days later, a federal court upheld the stop to the ban, and people from 7 countries were allowed back into the U.S. But protests and pushback against the ban happened almost instantly. In Austin, 2 events over 2 days brought together people from all walks of life with a collective voice of opposition.
Yesterday, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to allegedly protect the nation from terrorists entering the United States. In practice, however, this order serves to further harm those who are the very victims of terrorism, genocide, religious and gender-based persecution, and civil war.
Thanks. A big thanks for all the people here. They say it's my time. I want to excuse my daughter to start.
I just want to talk about my life a little bit. I decided to speak because I want people to know. I want people to know how children used to live in Syria. Okay, stop. You'll fall. You'll fall. Okay, you'll fall.
The Alama family fled violence in Syria almost 5 years ago. Much of that time was spent in Malaysia, waiting for permission to come to America as refugees.
Remember?
What?
When you have a
Oh my
bubble.
God. I had friends, I went to school, but suddenly I heard really, really loud noises from the window, and the next morning we packed our things and went.
The reason is the war. Suddenly there's not anything. You lost everything, so you have to search for the new life, save life, to protect my family.
When we came to Malaysia, she made this for my little sister. She was this big.
Oh.
And I was this big. I think this one fits her now.
May 2012, we left to Malaysia. I think the last flight from Damascus airport in that time.
Very difficult life.
So different.
Just every day in Malaysia, every day crying. Just I want to good life. Just for my daughters. Just I don't want anything. Just go to school and good life for Layla and Sama.
We are definitely in the midst of the worst humanitarian crisis since World War II. There are over 60 million refugees in the world right now. It's really like winning the lottery when you are offered to be resettled in another country, in any other country. Most refugees will never be offered that opportunity. It's less than 1 in 100 people. About 70% of refugees that enter Texas are families. So when people are being screened, they're being asked to tell their story of persecution. That is the only way refugees make it to the U.S. is because they have been persecuted for a range of reasons. Every individual in a family, including children, will be interviewed and interviewed by different agencies.
That's my father and me.
Just the screening process alone takes at least 2 years. More often than not, we actually hear stories of it taking much longer. So it's the rare occasion when people say, oh yes, it only took me 2 years to get through.
I understand the president, Mr. Trump. I understand how he wants to save his people and save United States. But also, honestly, we don't choose to be a refugee. There's so many people waiting him a chance.
There was significant counter-protest to last year's Muslim Day at the Capitol, and they are expecting, of course, even more this year. They're having a training for nonviolent supportive presence at 9 o'clock. I hope you'll join us.
Call him Jehovah.
I feel like wherever there's hate, there's always people that are there to help and to learn. That's definitely what we saw on Muslim Capital Day. There were people linking up arms and sort of protecting the speakers. And it was incredible because I didn't know that many people cared for us. I didn't know that many people were there for us or really were fazed by our struggle, right? Because these things don't bother us until they're right in front of our face.
This beautiful building behind me, that which some consider to be an emblem of compassion and democracy, has now more than ever run the risk of losing so. It's not un-American to criticize your government, but it's counterproductive to do so without being active in change.
My name is Hiba Fatima Siddiqui. I am a legislative deputy director for a Texas state representative down at the Capitol. As of a couple weeks ago, I am the new president of the Muslim Student Association here at St. Ed's. A lot of the people around me were scared or angry, but I was very confused. I feel like, at its core, the travel ban is un-American, right? Here in this country, we sort of thrive on this idea of protecting people's freedoms and people's liberties, no matter where they come from or what they're escaping. It really didn't matter that it was a ban, and it didn't matter how long for. It was just the very concept of wanting to ban people from coming to the country. None of the countries listed on the ban have any history of any immigrants traveling from those countries, immigrating into America, of terrorism, right? So it's almost, okay, so if it's not terrorism and if it's not national security that's the issue, then what is?
Security is a concern for those on both sides of the travel ban. National security was mentioned in most of the statements by Texas lawmakers. Texas AG Ken Paxton was the first attorney general in the country to formally support the ban after the courts halted it. And Austin Congressman Michael McCall went on record at a security hearing.
This is not a Muslim ban. And even the suggestion that it will alienate our allies and embolden our adversaries. This is a temporary suspension on visas from high-risk terror threat countries and a pause on the refugee program. This will allow the administration to put in place enhanced vetting to keep terrorists out and keep Americans safe.
Security and safety are also big worries for Muslims and Muslim Americans. A new report from the Southern Poverty Law Center shows hate groups are growing across the U.S., and the largest spike is in anti-Muslim groups. Mosques have been targets of violence in recent weeks in Quebec, South Texas, and just outside of Austin.
Those events happened post-travel ban. I feel like this ban and a lot of this new administration is really projecting a lot of anti-Muslim rhetoric, right? And it's normalizing it. It's normalizing, the idea of stigmatizing and marginalizing an entire group of people. Some women who will drive through rural Texas, women who wear the headscarf and stop to get gas, and will have to take off their headscarf because you never know what's going to happen. It's scary. It's really scary.
Hey,
Kind of like this, I think.
this is fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrinkly flags.
I think, is this backwards?
Okay, all right, everyone, quiet on the set.
And one of the ways to move past that is with education. And most of the problem, like I said before, is in representation, right? That's really the only way to combat this fear of the unknown.
Solidarity Social, 2 p.m., the community room. We're going to be having food, intercultural music, solidarity statements from different student leaders. Come by, have a good time.
Friday, we're going to have our Solidarity Social. It's going to be hosted by our campus ministry and our Interfaith Leadership Council. And really what we do is with events like this, we try to build a type of interfaith allegiance between people of all faith or lack thereof, right? And it really promotes serious dialogue that isn't there or could not exist otherwise. And so the theme for our social is standing with our Muslim brothers and sisters. Fear of the unknown was inherently un-American because all we do is advance, all we do is develop and grow. It's what we pride ourselves on, and it's protecting the freedoms of people, and it's protecting the liberties of people, and being able to allow people from all over to come to our country.
I'm here and I'm gonna build my future. I'm gonna build my future here.